Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the podcast and happy 2024. I am recording this in January of 2024, and I'm just going to complete season one here in January, and then I'm going to step into season two of the little filly who couldn't be broke. So, what is today's topic? It's a mismatch of a few different things. I think I'm going to throw in a few different things, but I want to tell you a story. I want to tell you a story of my chakra journey or my yoga journey. So my yoga journey actually didn't start until about 2016. 2016. And that's when I bought my first yoga mat and I started going to my first classes. And I knew the instant I took my first class that yoga teacher training was something that I was going to step into. And the universe just provided. It just provided. And then it just was right there. But I want to actually step back because my yoga sessions, not necessarily sessions, my yoga journey started kind of in the middle of, I'd already started since 2011, 2012. It's about fall or late 2011 to 2012. Stepped into my healing journey. And I know I was telling you guys about this. But my chakra journey alongside of this, I want to kind of dive into, and I don't remember how much exactly I had spoken about before. If you've heard this a second time, there might be new tidbits that I bring up today that I never spoke about earlier. So, at the very beginning, when I first did my Reiki, I first did my, the body talks and the angels and the Akashic records and all of the things, and just dived in and just jumped in at like both feet and just started doing my healing journey, my ancestral journey, all of it. What happened was, and I know people talk about like Kundalini rising, and they talk about, I wouldn't say their journey, but what they felt was from like the base of their spine. The Kundalini is at the base of their spine, and it like rises up, and the energy rises up, and they feel this connection. Well, what I kind of felt was actually, I wouldn't say the opposite, but I want to say like, yeah, the opposite. Not necessarily, because I have no idea what Kundalini rising feels like, as I cannot say I've ever experienced it, and if I have experienced it, I've not classified it as that. But what happened was the Reiki healing, the Reiki classes, when I took my Reiki 1-2, it opened up my crown chakra. And so the first chakra for me to be opened up was actually my crown chakra and getting that divine connection. And so that is one of the most important things, and that will always be one of the most important things that I always start with. Now, did they speak about grounding? Did they speak about chakras? Did they speak about intuition? Did they speak about heart centers? Yes, absolutely. So I kind of feel like what kind of happened was, and kind of actually quite quickly, really actually quite quickly, in the first 1, 2, 3, 4, years, the crown chakra. And then like this would, let's say level 1 Reiki. Level 2 Reiki was the third eye and the intuitive center. Jumping into my body talk right around the same time. Throat chakra. I mean, there was still some there because that took a little bit. But I could feel like after I took my body talk, and it wasn't just the body talk exactly, but it was all things combined, right? Just moving on with the journey. All things that I've learned previously, helping to open up, helping to release. And then the throat chakra of speaking this truth. Speaking, I am a spiritual being. I am doing this work. I am stepping into it. I am a Reiki healer. I am connected to all of this stuff and speaking about it, not being a closet healer, not being a closet, spiritualist, right? I opened my throat chakra just that much to be able to speak my truth and really stand in that truth. And I had to stand in that truth towards family and friends that didn't like that I was pursuing this, that didn't follow along with me. And so a few bridges got burned, a lot of conversations got had. And so the throat chakra really opened up at that point when I started speaking about it and I started implementing it. I started doing it. And I started doing this work. At the same time, the heart chakra really, really opened up. In 2015, my heart chakra was so open in the way of like, just feeling compassion and feeling love and feeling joy and just feeling so filled up with pursuing my purpose and stepping into all that I was. My heart chakra was just phenomenal. And it kind of just kept going down. Now I'm going to tell you, this is where the yoga journey comes in. This is where a shift happened. I still cannot tell you. I cannot tell you what happened right around 2015, 2016, no clue. And it might have been more than one thing. It might have been a compilation of things kind of thing. I don't know what happened. It's just kind of like the universe is like, next lesson, please. Right? So I started down and I really started to open up and I really started to step into who I am, who I was at that time, right? I really started to recognize and understand and know who I am, my dreams, my goals, the talk to the ego part, which is one of the things there's 3, and so these 3 are going to be up and coming if I don't lose this paper, is I didn't know if I wanted to speak about this full journey, or I wanted to speak about the fear, the ego judgments, or if I wanted to speak about manifesting, or if I wanted to speak about love. So these are some of the ones that I wanted to really bring up today. And I thought I'm probably going to pinpoint on a little bit on each of them because they're all a part of my story. So I thought I'll start with my story. I'll just tell them my story and then I'll continue on in the podcast and speak about each of these things individually, right? Each of these topics separately. And I'll dive into more on how like what I've learned on each of these topics and how you can implement them in your own life, or some things to think about, some of the belief systems, a little throat chakra there. So something came up in 2016. I don't know what it is yet. And it really doesn't matter. As long as it gets cleared out. The throat chakra started coming up again. But it's not that I couldn't speak about it. I was still speaking about it. But it's almost like the message wasn't getting through. The message wasn't getting across. It wasn't getting received. It's like people weren't hearing me. Something was cutting off the message. But more than that, I really, really started to realize, try to work on, I wanted to get like, I don't know if it was the yoga journey, but the yoga really brought me into my body, right? It really brought me into how I was feeling in my body. And I was having a lot of back problems, also a lot of neck problems, throat chakra, right? And so it's funny, my throat is getting really froggy right now. Interesting. I always look at those things and I always kind of make mental notes, if not real notes. I write it down somewhere. What really comes up and what's going on, and I start to kind of like connect the dots. I kind of start to pinpoint things, patterns and everything, and then work through those. So anyways, continuing on, I stepped into my yoga journey. And at first I was just kind of going to local yoga. And then I started going to yoga in Lloydminster. And then really quickly after that, so 2016, probably early on in 2016, so probably a year and a half later, I signed up for teacher training. A year and a half into my yoga journey, I signed up for teacher training. And I probably wasn't even going once a week, you know? But it felt so right. And it was so easy. Like, it happened with ease. It happened with grace. And it just showed up for me. And it was right there. But so the yoga journey, this is what I want to speak about. Because actually, when I first bought my first yoga mat, I'm trying to remember the color. I want to say it was purple. Purple and green. So that would be the crown chakra and the heart chakra. The next one I bought, I do believe, was pink, which again, so you could also say the intuition, and then the pink would be, again, it's kind of connected to the heart chakra, but also, you would have your violet and indigo. And then I bought, I want to say the blue one next. So that would be the throat chakra. So along my journey, I kept buying these different yoga mats. And so it was kind of like, well, when I chose to step into, this class or this course or with this teacher, I'm going to take 3 months worth of, yoga with this person. I bought a yoga mat. They're fairly cheap and it just felt right. And so these yoga mats kept crossing my paths. And at one point I said, hey, these colors are really cool. I think I would like one. I didn't rush out and buy one of every color, but within the last 7 years, I have bought, so I had set the intention and thought, hey, it would be really cool to buy one of each chakra color, because I'd already bought like a couple here and a couple there, and they kind of started, matching up or just kind of following that pattern. So kind of from the beginning, I'm kind of like, this would be super cool. But like I said, I didn't just rush out and buy them. But over time, in each piece of the yoga journey or each piece of the healing journey, I purchased a different color yoga mat. So I had the first 4 fairly right away. So from about, 2016, 2017, 2018, 2019, when I started teaching in 18 and 19, I started teaching the classes to the local groups. I had, I think, the blue mat, for the throat chakra and really speaking my truth. Or maybe I hadn't had it yet. Because I actually bought, I think it's the blue mat. The exact colors at the exact right time doesn't really matter. But I think I bought the blue mat, or I know the orange mat. Anyways, I bought one of them after COVID, but it wasn't necessarily because of COVID, but I had my first child, right? So I was starting to put all this stuff away, and I thought it would be easiest for me to do yoga in the bedroom with him, like in the bassinet or sleeping in his room or in the crib or whatever. So I bought one because our bedroom has rug in it. So I bought a yoga mat that was suitable for rug. Like, I actually Googled, and I found this thicker mat that actually does work well in rug. Doesn't matter. I used it for about 6 months while he was growing. And that was still, continuing part of the journey. So I had these yoga mats. And so at this point, I was a little bit committed and a little bit to be what's still going on with my body. So along the healing journey, right? I really felt my heart center, the love, joy, and peace really settle in. This first half of the chakra journey was almost like the first half of my healing journey. And then the journey switched after 2016. And it kind of just followed the course of, the universe is never wrong, right? It always just, you can't make this stuff up. It just is what it is, and it flows how it flows, and you just kind of got to get to the bottom of it, kind of really feel into it, kind of flow with it, and just move through it as it's coming up. And so I really wanted to settle into, and I really wanted to feel more grounded, right? I really wanted to move through some of these blocks, these patterns. I wanted to really move through, some tummy issues, the back issues, even the neck issues, and some body issues. But these are all body pains, hip pain, stuff like that. And so, I was doing the work elsewhere. I was doing some meditations and some energy healings with other practitioners. I was doing massage and chiropractors, so I was doing that stuff over there. But I needed to bring it all together, right? I really needed to settle into what in the hell was going on. So my yoga journey continues on, my healing journey continues on, and I'm really starting to get to the bottom of what was underneath all of this stuff. Now, I can't just say that the other 3 went tuk, 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 solar plexus, and sacral chakra and root chakra. Sorry, my mind got ahead of me right there. And I swear, you got to be in my brain sometimes. It was already telling the next story, and I forgot what I was talking about. But naming the three chakras, the solar plexus, the sacral chakra, and the root chakra. Sometimes, I swear. That it didn't necessarily go in that order. I really started to really look into like the grounding piece, really started to look into like the solar plexus piece. But from 2016 to 2020, like I started to realize something was going on. And I started to kind of uncover some pieces of it. This is where I know, if I was telling my story before, this is where the sensitivity and empathy piece would come in, and really starting to decipher what's mine and what someone else's. Now, this journey took me way longer, way longer than it maybe should have. But I didn't understand it. No classes or teachers were really focusing on it. It was mentioned bits and pieces. People were, and I kind of really had to put things together for myself in this way. So this is where I started with the sensitivity and empathy piece, and the mediumship journey and the horse journey and all of the stuff. And this is where this stuff really settled in the yoga journey. Those three things kind of like, so once I kind of settled into the first bit of it and the first practices that I was already doing, they were very headstrong. And I don't mean like ego strong. I mean like intuitive strong. Where these other ones, yoga, horses, and mediumship, are very like grounding strong. They're very, and so I had to really settle into my body, my energy, my what's mine, what's not mine, how this is going, how this is working for me, and really start to shift that stuff. This took longer than I anticipated. Didn't even know what was happening, really. But I starting to put these pieces together. And so by the time 2020 rolled around, and again, nothing to do with COVID, but this is when the journey of having children started, right? And so the sacral chakra became very important. The root chakra became very important in my body, birthing children, right? 2 children so far. Or at this point, I should say. When I recorded this, I had 2 children. No idea what the future holds. And the solar plexus was really in there as well. It really was like, it's just part of, it's actually part of where even like the labor starts from up there. And not that I really went into labor because I had 2 cesareans, but I did. And I read all about it, and I know all about it, but also like the back pain, the solar plexus, right where the solar plexus would be in the back, that's where, I can't say the pain was coming from, but that's where the chiropractor kept adjusting, right in the middle of my back. So right in the middle of my back, there's a spot that gets tweaked or, is affected, and is affecting me downwards to my hips, to the base of my spine, and upwards. Anyways, so I really had to settle into this grounding piece. We re-grounded our house. I have a grounding mat on the bed. I have grounded my house with crystals, like a whole crystal grid. And I have cleared out the house and done all of this other stuff. But it really became this journey of stepping into the sacral, all of those feelings, what's going on, what's mine, what's yours, and everything, grounding into the essence of who I really am, what's really going on in the present moment, and really the truth of everything, right? Just grounding into the ground, the earth. I felt like, actually, I really feel like I was probably much more grounded. Yeah, the angels, my guys, are like, yeah, you were much more grounded. When I was still farming, and I became a little unsettled, ungrounded, when I stepped off the tractor, stepped out of the cow pen, and I didn't mean to step out like permanently. I thought, I'm still here. I'm still working on it. I just don't need to make it a 9 to 5. I'm still the assistant. Please show me or like ask me if you need help. I'll still wander out there. I'll still be part of this whole thing. But I want to kind of like 50-50 my time, right? Like, or even just focus more on here and have this like the side gig. Instead of having farming the full time, having healing the side gig, I wanted to do healing more full time and farming the side gig. Does that make sense? I never thought I would step so far out of the farming, and not that it's gone. It's not. I'm still there, but I'm not as active as I was in it day to day, like I was before. That kept me a lot more grounded. So I really had to dig into the grounding in my own body, like the grounding in myself, what, like who I am and what I stand for, and how I'm gonna be and who I'm gonna be, and really ground into my truth. This took a while. All of this stuff, healing my body, really digging into all of this stuff. But I did get the next color yoga mat, and I got the orange yoga mat for my sacral chakra with my second child. And I barely used it, but I did use it. And just this last fall, I think I got the red grounding one. When we started to ground the house and do all this stuff, I got the grounding mat. So I have the red grounding yoga mat. The only yoga mat that I do not have yet is the yellow yoga mat. And I have tried to order 2, and the universe is like, that's a no-go. You have not chosen the right one yet. It's not coming through for you. So there is a tiny little bit more work to do. I know it's coming probably this month. I thought it was last month. I thought I'm really stepping into it here. I've really started to step into my power. I've really started to take my power back. I've really started to step into that solar plexus. This is who I am power. And some of those patterns that I had to heal was the trauma responses, the people pleasing, and I was going to say being so honest with myself, but really cleaning out the cobwebs in the corner. Like, I couldn't just pretend that everything was peachy. Not that I never pretend that everything, but not that I needed to be peachy for everyone else, but I'm going to put it this way. I had to know who was sitting at my table. In the way of, I had to know who I was hiring for my business. I had to know who was on my team, who was supportive and who was not supportive for my business. I needed to know who was on, the farm team and how they were affecting the farming stuff. I needed to know who was in my family team, who was supporting and who was not supporting from my family, from any of my family, extended and vice versa, like the small family and the whole extended family. And I needed to know who was on that friends list that was supportive and who was not. So I stood in my power. I'm standing in my power. And I've had a lot of hard conversations. I have made a lot of hard decisions. I have moved through a lot of uncomfortable situations, knowing that I continue to speak my truth, knowing that I don't have to give my power away. I don't have to allow anyone to make those decisions for me. It's not their choice, what I choose in my life. And not just that, the decision to even continue to have people in my life, they need to be loving and supportive, because if they're not loving and supportive, they're draining. They're not serving me anymore. And I don't mean like serving me like a servant. I mean not serving my energy. They're draining. They're draining my energy by me having to constantly overcome this relationship or this dynamic, this patterning, and work through things. And the people in my life, they don't have to be perfect. I'm not even asking for them to be perfect. What I'm asking for them is not to shit on me, and like to be loving and supportive. Or just, yeah. There were so many conversations. I'm just like, I'm running through like 25, 30, 50 different people in my head. So it's really hard to explain each of these dynamics. It's really hard to, but just know I had to figure out who was sitting at my table. And I really had to stand up for myself, and I had to stop people pleasing. I had to stop making myself small. I had to stop changing who I was for other people. I really had to start asking people to step up. If I was going to step up, if I am going to step up, I need those people to step up with me. If you're not going to step up with me, if you're not going to up level to where I am in the space of like love and forgiveness and peace and joy, if you're not going to be in my life to create that much joy and love and peace with me, I'm not going to be in your life to stay in the situation of anger and hatred and resentment and all of the negative stuff. Now, are we going to have negative stuff? Yes, I have shit too, but I take responsibility for it. And I was actually just thinking either yesterday or today, it doesn't matter, about how powerful when people start to own their thing, own their feelings, own their thoughts, own their behavior, own what's coming up for them. When they speak about what's coming up for them, like if someone comes to me for a session, and or even if like a friend or family member or someone who's really struggling, I'm not saying you can't have any crap. Absolutely not saying that at all. But if you come to me and say, I'm struggling, here's what's going on in my life, this is my life, these are my decisions, this is what's coming up for me, that's taking responsibility. And I will sit with you till the end of the earth and hold your hand and give you hugs and all the praise and all the love while you work through your stuff. But if you are not willing to look at your stuff and you continue to project it onto me, my family members, and others in my life, conversations are going to be had. And so that's where the solar plexus piece really started to come up. I really needed to step up. Like, I thought I was okay with not the people pleasing. There was a space where I really knew I needed to step out of the people pleasing. But I thought if I just take care of me, spiritual leaders really promote this. I just take care of me, you take care of you, it's all good. You go have your life and your experiences and I'll have mine. But what I've really come to understand through sensitivity and empathy is that we are all affecting each other. So we need to work together to help each other out. We need to help each other move through the crap, and we need to help lift each other up some ways and sometimes. And we also need to take that responsibility for ourselves, because God knows I need people to help lift me up, and I need people to sit with me while I'm down. But I'm still taking responsibility. Going back to that responsibility piece, right? I'm still taking responsibility for how I'm feeling and what's coming up in my life. Okay. So I'm still looking at my ego. I'm still journaling through my fears. Still looking at my judgments. I'm looking at what's showing up in my outer life and moving through it in my inner life, right? So that's a little bit about like the love, peace, joy, and that's a little bit about that. And so after I move through this whole chakra journey, after I get that yellow yoga mat, and it is the first week of January, manifesting was the other one that I wanted to talk about, because of course we're in January, we're starting a new year. People kind of like usually feel a conclusion at the end of the year. They usually feel like they're wrapping things up, and they usually feel like they're kind of starting fresh. But it's also like the winter months, and the winter months are like hibernation months. But they're also a time to go inwards, right? So it's a time to look at. So it's a time to change your mindset, and it's a time to transform. And it's okay to make those new goals and set those new goals and manifest new things and cut out or change or transform or shift through the old things. And it's really time to try to start to look at that, which is why this healing journey came up for me, is coming up for me, and it is something I'm moving through and it's something I'm working through. That this stuff is all kind of even like coming to a conclusion. So when I talk to you about manifesting, and when I've talked to you in the past about manifesting, it's all been about, I shouldn't say that. There's a few different ways to manifest, but you can't get to a place that you've never gotten to before by staying where you are. Like, just think about, if I stay sitting at the kitchen table, I'm not going to get to the bedroom. I'm not going to get to the living room. I'm not going to get outside if I stay sitting at the kitchen table. Same with like getting in your car or walking or biking or, traveling somewhere. It's like, I'm not going to get to spot B if I stay at A. So you have to move from A. You have to be willing to move from spot A to get to spot B. Well, sometimes it's just a journey of, it doesn't have to be like this huge transformation, but you're going to have a journey from A to B. You're going to take those steps. You're going to take those actions. You're going to keep on driving. You're going to keep on walking. You're going to, you're going to, I don't know, dance your way there. It doesn't matter. But to get from spot A to B, that's the process of manifesting. So you have to leave A before you get to B. And because the beginning of the year is, and like I said, the winter is all about changing and manifesting and growth, I really wanted to bring this in because obviously healing journey, right? On the other side of healing, this is what I'm trying to say, is on the other side of healing, on the other side of this growth, the healing journey really is all about moving spiritually from spot A to spot B. You change your mindset from spot A to spot B. You change your perspective. You move through this. You have an experience that gets you from A to B. It might be a physical journey. It might be an emotional journey. It might be a mental journey. It might be a spiritual journey, and it's probably all of them, right? But to manifest something, you have to get from A to B. I will leave that one. I just wanted to talk about it because going back to my story, moving through this healing journey is, I had these dreams. I had these goals. It's January. I've got vision boards. I've had vision boards since someone told me what a vision board was. I don't remember what that was, but it was like, and before my vision boards was actually, I was going to say 2011 or something like that, 2012. But before that was actually my bucket list. I had this bucket list. And I've had goals and I've had dreams since I was a child, right? Like, it's just something that some people more so than others. Some people just don't even know what to dream about or know what their next goal is. But I couldn't fathom that. Like, I've always had these dreams and goals as a child and beyond. So I've always had these lofty goals. And so manifesting and vision boards and all of this stuff, well, going through this healing journey is what is going to get me from point A to point B. It's what's going to move me through the blocks that are here and now in my body, in my mind, in my like my spiritual journey, my mental journey, my emotional journey, my physical journey. Whatever is blocking me right now, whatever's showing up for me right now, whatever I'm moving through right now with this yoga journey and this chakra healing journey and this energetic healing journey, energy journey, to begin with, whatever I'm moving through is going to lead me to those dreams, to those visions, to those goals. And I can't wait. because I can feel them. They're so damn close. And some things are starting to shift. And that's why I feel like this last yoga mat is coming my way, because things are already starting to shift and things are already starting to happen. And they hadn't happened in years and years and years, through all of this, from 2011, when I even started this, all of this healing stuff, or even knew what was going on. I was clueless back then. But from 2011, I had some of these same goals written down. I had some of these same intentions written down, and I had some of these same, I wouldn't say, I'm going to say challenges or struggles. I was going to say blocks. And you know what? It is a word, like, it works. So these same blocks were coming up, these same struggles, these same challenges were coming up for a very long time. And I couldn't ever kind of get to the bottom of them. They kind of kept eluding me. And so now I've come this far. And I'm not giving up now, because I can see the end, baby. And so that last yoga mat is coming in very soon. And it's what is going to help me. It's kind of going to be the end of this journey. And actually, I will throw this in kind of at the end of this podcast, because you might not be on my Facebook, but you might not be on some of the other social media. So this year, since 2012, that's probably when I started vision boarding, I also had a word of the year. And a few years ago, I had them all written out. And then I added, the next couple years to it. But this year, I took a look at that whole list of all the words. And I kind of sitting here in the first week of January, last week of December, and I'm like, I don't feel ready. This doesn't feel right. There's no word coming up. So this morning's post was, let go, let God. Trust the journey. And the way I described it is, I really feel like these last however many years, 12 years, was all a part of like this school of life, going through this journey, going through this healing, going through this process to heal all of my chakras, to heal all of my crap, to heal all of my stuff. And not just about yoga, it's just the chakras kind of, match the yoga mats. and it grew me, and it's growing me, and it's changing me, it's shifting me to be the person that I needed to be, that I want to be, that I am meant to be, to step into all of these dreams and ambitions that I have to continue to go forward. And I kind of felt like I was standing on the threshold of the school of life, and I was looking out into the abyss. And I have the school of life behind me, and everything, just like I said, the abyss out in front of me. And I don't know what's yet to come. And I honestly didn't want to plan it. I mean, I already have the goals, and I already have intention. I already have all of that stuff is kind of already set. So now I just kind of like surrendering, but that didn't seem like the right, maybe trust, but it felt like it was more than a word. Like, it wasn't just a word. I wasn't learning how to trust or anything. It was the action of just letting go and just trusting and surrendering. It had nothing to do with a word. It was a beingness. It was the beingness of surrendering. It was the beingness of just trusting the abundance of it all, the unknown of it all, and just knowing that everything was falling into place already. It's already done, and it's already here, and it's already taken care of. Oh, so that is my January 2024 not word of the year. I haven't even updated my vision board. I'm not going to set like intentions like this has to be done by this point or whatever, but I think I am going to sit down and I'm going to be like, these intentions already came to pass. They're off the list. These intentions are yet to come. No idea how they're going to, there's no plan. There's no actions. It's just kind of like, this is what I intend. Like at some point in my life, I would like to see Europe. Well, I like before the old me, yesterday's me would have been like, I want to see Europe and I want to see Europe in 2026 and I want to go from this day to this day and like I'm going to make it happen, right? I'm going to, set this aside and I'm going to set the intention and I'm going to be freaking clear and I'm going to be very detailed. I don't get so detailed to say, oh, I can only, like do this or that or the next thing but I get so detailed or so clear on it. So I get like excited about it and yes, it's already, but honestly, it's kind of like at this point, it's just like, I'm going to go to Europe. And when I go to Europe and how I go to Europe and who I go to Europe with and what it looks like, it is yet to be seen. Right? And that's just one of them. All of the other, so I'm going to make this very vague list of kind of future intentions and call her a day. Like it's this year is, I feel like this is why this story needed to come out. Oh, you guys, do I have it here? I also wanted to add this in. Okay, I will tell you that over on this side, am I pointing to the right side of my computer? I also have a chakra grid. Over my grounding grid is right there. It's right beside this Buddha. But I wanted to show you this. I know if you're on the podcast, you can't see it, so I will describe this to you. I got this pendulum. It is a chakra. It's moving. I will try to steady it. It's a chakra pendulum. And it has like triangle, square, crystal stones of one of each chakra color with the root at the bottom, obviously, and the crown at the top. And it's a chakra pendulum. And I got this in 2016. Coincidence? I think not. When I first got this chakra pendulum, it was given to me as a gift. And it broke. It fell apart. If you kind of notice, I don't know if you can see some like glue sticking out on the side. Oh, sorry, move it more in front of the camera. And it's not straight in some pieces, which is perfectly okay. It started falling apart. I think we've glued it together. Let me look. On every single one, I'm pretty sure between every single stone. And so it fell apart the first time, glued it back together, kind of set it aside or whatever. And then next time I went to use it, fell apart again. I mean, I don't use my pendulum. I use my intuition, just soul intuition. But there's a few times, when I went to grab it and it was broken. So we glue it back together again and every single one of them fell apart. So more on the chakra journey was the journey of putting this chakra pendulum back together. The other day, we glued together can you see that? Yellow between the solar plexus and the sacral, the biggest gob of glue there. And that tells you something right there, right? Solar plexus, as I'm trying to order my yellow yoga mat. And we glued it together for the last time. And I used it and it did not fall apart. But I think each and every one of them has been glued together now with some like badass glue. So it did not fall apart. And I feel healed. And I feel like this pendulum is healed. And this pendulum has gone on the journey with me. My yoga mats have gone on the journey with me. My journey has gone on the journey with me, right? My healing has gone on the journey with me. So the first part of my healing journey was like all about healing myself. And then the second part, as I was speaking about now was more so not healing the people outside of me, but the piece of what's yours and what's mine. And what's my responsibility? And how do I step out of taking on other people's responsibilities, or stop people pleasing, or stop giving my power away? And all about, giving their crap back. That's yours. Take it home with you. I don't need your emotional baggage. Thank you. Or anything else, right? Like, I'm really standing in that power. So yes, I wanted to show you that chakra pendulum. And it's all part of the journey. So now I do feel like I'm standing. Sorry, I'm just playing with it now. There's my chakra. I wonder when I got that, my chakra blanket. I don't think it was 2016, but it might have been 2015. No, I would have had it. It might have been 2015. I remember, I purchased it, but I remember picking it up. I don't remember the year though. I remember the experience. So yeah, that is my chakra healing journey and my yoga journey, yoga mat journey. And it was this crazy ass experience. But now I feel like I'm all put back together again. Now I feel like I've moved through every different piece of my life. Now I feel like I've torn apart every single piece of me and put me back together differently. And the person who walked into this healing journey, not that it's over, but isn't the person that's walking out. So I feel like it's kind of like that chapter done. But I don't even feel like that chapter done. I kind of feel like that book done. So it's a whole new book this time. It's a whole new me, but still the same me at the same time. So that is the chakra healing journey. For all of you that are listening, thank you so much for being here again. I think I probably have all the links in the little information. I don't think you call it that bio, but like the podcast information. So you can just click there and check me out wherever you need to check me out on the interwebs. And you can follow me and catch up with me in various other places as well. Also, you can reach out. Messenger works as well as email. So let me know. Let me know how this sits for you. You can comment on YouTube. I got a couple comments from YouTube already. And so that's pretty cool. I don't think you can comment on the podcast. So only over on YouTube. So pretty awesome, pretty cool. Drop me a line or check me out. And I will see you guys next time on the next podcast.